Ladies, gentlemen, and monsters of all ages, with the Monster Hunter Wilds hype train chugging its way down the track, there's a lot of people just sort of itching for a new monster hunting experience. And with the wait until the release of the game being until the end of February in 2025, you may well be looking for other ways to get at least a little bit of that same feeling. A lot of you probably already know about this game, but for those of you that don't, this is Dauntless. It is a hunting style game that released over 5 years ago now, and over that time it has gone through round after round of significant changes, and each time it has generally felt quite a bit better to play each time that I've hopped back in, at least in my opinion. Obviously there are people who don't like radical changes, and the game has had these massive changes a number of times. That said, the game is a really fun and solid one to quench that Monster Hunter sort of itch. It definitely isn't Monster Hunter, and while it's clearly inspired by the series, it makes quite a fair effort to differentiate itself from Monster Hunter and make it feel like its own complete experience, especially with the way that healing works in the game, some of the more endgame systems being repeatable, almost like roguelike experiences, which is quite a neat concept for the style of game to begin with, or even just how unique and special some of the weapons can get with their special abilities and such. It's wacky, it's wild, and if you go in just looking to explore and experience new things you haven't seen before, it'll be a great time for you, like that fresh Monster Hunter game experience. That said, there is another big specific reason that we're talking about this game right now, which is that at some point in the relatively near future, Dauntless is going to release its Awakening update, the first update for the game in over 2 years. It is going to be absolutely massive. It has a brand new behemoth, a bunch of system reworks and overhauls once again, a genuinely massive number of unique weapons and their own special abilities for them too, and a whole load of other things that we will dive into in a moment. But with this, the game is also finally coming to Steam and releasing there. And I know there are plenty of people who don't like playing games unless they run through Steam, at least amongst the PC audience. That said, there will be the new behemoth, Carcanos, who was actually designed, or at least conceptualized at first, in a joint effort with the community for the game a couple of years ago now, where the developers decided to do a fun stream bringing a concept artist on and just discussing with any of the viewers in the stream what they would like to see and designing an entire behemoth around that, which resulted, at least originally, in this psychic looking umbral hybrid of a beetle, a scorpion, and a spider, which is originally lovingly bestowed the codename Crudge. This has been a long time coming, the release of this behemoth, but this update will finally see this actual creature enter its final state as Carcanos himself, who will also come with the addition of a new Umbral Hunting Grounds map as well, his own armor, and also a set of die. Past this, I mentioned the big pile of unique weapons being added in as well. Specifically, it's one unique weapon for each type available in the early quests, so you can mess around with the different weapon styles to find out what you actually enjoy quite easily. And personally, I'm a big fan of Dauntless weapons. I have been for a long time. I enjoy the pace of them, the interesting combos you can do with them, and their visuals quite a lot too, especially the hammer, the repeaters, and the pike were my favorite three, though I enjoyed all of the playstyles for all the weapons, honestly. As well, there will be 11 more unique items unlockable with a new currency within the game, which can be bought, but can also be earned for free through the hunt passes and weekly challenges. Specifically, this is 2 hammers, 2 unique chain blades as well, 2 unique axes, 2 unique pikes, and 2 unique swords, so no repeaters or aether strikers, just the base weapons of the game. That said, they each can all gain a ton of power to stay useful throughout your journey, and have their own set of talents that you can unlock and sort of mess with too, with now every weapon having their own unique legendary ability tied to them too. The next major part of this update, which is one that I've been excited about since I heard, and it's something that was hinted at as coming to Monster Hunter Wilds as well in the reveal trailer for that game, but I am spoiler free on everything about Wilds past that, so I don't know if it's been developed past that at all. But Dauntless is adding in the ability to equip 2 weapons to bring with you out on the hunt. Both weapons gain equal experience, so it doesn't hinder you to do so at all, and not only can you swap between the weapons at will, so you can actually move between them and do something like having repeaters for when you want to keep your distance from a behemoth, and then swap to a more in-your-face weapon like the hammer if a monster gets staggered, as stagger chaining is essentially the path to victory in this game above all else, honestly. Not only that though, but there are also unique weapon swap combo attacks that you can do to weapon swap while also keeping your offense up, and that's a really fun way to work that in too, at least as far as I'm concerned. Then there's also a rework to armor progression and cells in the way that that system works as a whole, with armor now being where your buffs and perks will mostly be coming from, and it will all be upgradable to level 20 to help achieve these perks. And now cells can only be slotted into armor too, and will entirely just be to help activate these perks as well. They are also, with this update, adding in a new item type that you can get either from the free Hunt Pass track, or that you can buy with Platinum or get from the Elite Hunt Pass, and these are called canisters. This is a new functional way to interact with and collect cosmetics within the game. Specifically, it will work a lot like crate or loot box systems in other games, and they are specifically saying that they are are trying to be as transparent as possible about the system. They are showing the odds and things like that of every single thing before you even open the canisters or get them in the first place, and they're trying to have it be as fun and engaging without falling into some of the usual trappings of similar loot box-esque systems. Along with this, they are also completely reworking the main questline of the game, the one that starts the game off, not only to better represent base game functionality changes since the initial launch over 5 years ago, but also to introduce you to a lot of new mechanics or game mode types that have been released to Dauntless since that time as well. Not only is this for brand new players, but they also are recommending it to any returning players too when you're first coming into the Awakening update. As well, they are adding new status effects to different element type weapons. Radiance now gets basically a flashbang status, which is pretty cool and could be quite fun to mess around with. Umbral makes like a little mini game, a whole new actual aspect of playing, creating an Umbral cyst on the behemoth in a random place, and when you hit it, it deals part damage to the parts that are surrounding it. Then it also explodes for heavy damage and heavy part damage in an AoE too, if you break the full health bar within the 30-second window that this effect has. On top of that, Frost as a status now properly freezes enemies instead of only slowing the behemoth, which is quite a cool change too. Then finally, there are just some changes to existing behemoths as well, including more significant moveset adjustments for things like Embermane and Valamir. That said, if you haven't played the game before, if you haven't played Dauntless before, jumping in right now will probably be a very fun way to just spend some time, honestly, work through the whole thing. If you have played the game before, but not for a few years, maybe you played it on launch, it actually had a lot of updates over the few years that came past that, so you probably have a lot to dive into too. However, it hasn't really received a proper major update for over 2 years as of this point, until this point, and this is because they've been working on this Awakening update that entire time. And within this, the release date has been pushed back a few times, so many in fact that it's even gotten a name change to the update over the course of it all. Most recently, it was pushed back from a November release date, as in this month, and nothing currently is announced for the specific release date, but the running theory in the community is potentially early December, specifically due to that being the end date of the current in-game season. With this, it would also be unlocking the doors to Steam as an option too to play the game before quite entering the holiday period, which they probably would like to do, because obviously there's always problems with new releases. It's not necessarily a new game release, but it is a very, very major update they've been working on for a lot of time. There's a lot of potential for things to go wrong, especially with adding in Steam and just adding in the fluctuation of players that would come with such a major update, so they do want to make sure that everything's fine. That said, there is no official specific release date, but all signs point to it at least releasing before Monster Hunter Wilds does, if not relatively soon to right now. So it's definitely something worth keeping an eye on if you're interested. That just about does it for today then, everyone. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Dauntless, a game that we have played quite a lot of on this channel over the years, and has been in a sort of waiting period for literally years for this absolutely massive update to hit, Awakening. How the game itself in its current state is still totally worth checking out for people who haven't experienced it beforehand, and how big of a deal this new update is going to be when it finally hits, what it includes from what we've been told, and when we're expecting it to happen as well. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.